Hi everyone! I'm so glad you can join me today. Now, last week we learned how Paul and Silas were thrown in jail. After God sent an earthquake to deliver them, Paul traveled to the famous ancient city of Athens. In Athens, many smart people would stand in the marketplace and debate all day about the latest ideas. Now, while Paul was waiting for these people to arrive, he became super upset to see that the city was full of idols. So when the people arrived, he reasoned in the synagogue and in the marketplace with both the Jews and the God-fearing Greeks. A group of philosophers gathered and began to debate with Paul. Now, philosophers are people who are pretty smart and love to discuss topics such as physics, ethics, politics, and the meaning of life. Anyway, some of them asked, "What is this babbler trying to say?" Others said, "He seems to be advocating foreign gods." They said this because Paul was preaching the good news about Jesus and the resurrection. Paul was waiting for Silas and Timothy to join him in Athens, but he didn't waste any time telling people about Jesus. He was upset because he saw that Athens was filled with these idols. Now, an idol is a statue of a false god, like the statue that you see here, but much larger. The people in Athens believed there were many gods. They bowed down to these idols and worshiped the false gods. Now, do you think that people of Athens know the one true God? No, they didn't. So, Paul wanted to tell them about him. Now, the people of Athens took Paul to a meeting of the Areopagus. Now, say that one with me. Areopagus. The Areopagus was a very important place where the smartest people would gather and talk about important ideas. And these people sat and listened to Paul talk about God. This was an amazing opportunity that God gave Paul. Paul then stood up in the meeting of the Areopagus and said, "People of Athens, I see that in every way you are very religious. For as I walked around and looked carefully at your objects of worship, I even found an altar with this inscription, 'To an unknown God.' So you are ignorant of the very thing you worship, and this is what I'm going to proclaim to you." Even though Paul was far from home, he grew up in a city very similar to Athens. So he knew exactly how to talk to these very smart people. He said they were very religious. They really cared about their gods. But they didn't know the one true living God. So Paul pointed out that one of their own altars had these words on it, "To an unknown God." Now the people of Athens recognized that there was a God they didn't even know. Paul goes on to say, "The God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth and does not live in temples built by human hands. And he is not served by human hands as if he needed anything. Rather, he himself gives everyone life and breath and everything else. From one man he made all the nations, that they should inhabit the whole earth. And he marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands. God did this so that they would seek him and perhaps reach out to him and find him, though he is not far from any one of us." Paul goes on and continued to tell the people the truth about God. God made the world and gives life to all of us. He made every nation that has ever been. And all of them started with one man, Adam. God is in control of everything. How long these nations last and how big they are. And God made them and wanted them to seek after him. But unfortunately, this nation, Greece, worshipped false gods. God wants to be known. He also knows you, and you can also know him. Paul also continued to tell the people about how God raised Jesus from the dead. When they heard about the resurrection of the dead, some of them sneered, but others said, "We want to hear you again on this subject." Some of them sneered, but others wanted to learn more. And several of them believed and became followers of Jesus, including a member of the Areopagus. The stories of the people who have known God fill the Bible, and the people who know him today live all over the world. God isn't far away from any of us, and he's not made from gold or silver or stone like the idols in Athens. He's the living God, and he loves us. He knows us, and he wants us to know him, to learn, to hear his voice, to feel his presence, and to enjoy a relationship with him. Well, that concludes our story for today. Be sure you continue the conversation at home with your family. We've also provided an activity sheet for your whole family to take part in on our website. I hope you all have a blessed week.